All right, students, this video is going to show you all how to calculate the measures of central tendency. I'm going to show you how to do it for interval ratio level data, nominal and ordinal level data, and then I'm also going to show you how to include another variable, like a second variable to look at like averages amongst different categories of a variable. Okay, so what we need to do first off, let's just go ahead and show how to do it with interval ratio level data. So I'm going to use the variable age. So I'm going to take the variable age and I'm going to copy it and I'm going to open up a new sheet. The reason why we want to copy and open up a new sheet is because we don't want to alter the original data. Okay, so when we're on this new sheet, we can do whatever we want to it. So I'm going to put that variable here, okay? And then what I also need to do is there's some missing values, and I need to remove these missing values because I only want the valid responses. I don't want the invalid responses. So how do I know which of these numbers are valid and which ones are invalid? It's interval ratio, so I have a bunch of numbers here. Well, what I do is I come over here and I check out the code book. So I'm going to come over here to the code book, and I see the age. So 89 are people who are 89 or older. So even though that's not technically kind of like interval ratio because you can't measure the distance between like 89 and older and like 88, we're just going to keep that as if it is interval ratio. And then 98 would be don't know, so I don't know who doesn't know their age, but that wouldn't be a valid response. And then 99 would be if the respondent didn't answer. Okay, so that makes sense. You don't answer if you don't know your age. That's probably a problem. But so 99, 5 people just didn't answer that. So we're going to try to remove those 5 people. So what we're going to do is we're going to highlight this column, and then we're going to press Control F. Now what we want to do is we want to replace 99, and we're just going to replace it with nothing. So replace all 99s. So we made 5 replacements. So we've removed everybody who said 99, or we've removed everybody who said or who did not answer. Okay. So now the data is clean, and now I can go about actually calculating the measure of central tendency for this variable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to data, and I'm going to click data analysis. I'm going to press descriptive statistics. If you missed it in a previous video, the way you get this data analysis, if you're not seeing it right now, what you're going to do is you're going to come over here to File. You're going to come over here to Options. You're going to come over here to Add-ins. Then you're going to go Excel Add-ins, and you're going to press Go. And then you're going to click on Analysis Toolpath, Analysis Toolpath VBA. But I already did all that, so I already have this data analysis here. So I'm going to click on Data Analysis. I'm going to click on Descriptive Statistics because I wanted to tell me, mean, median, mode, variance, standard deviation, stuff like that. So I don't have the input range yet, so I'm going to put the output range. And all the output ranges is it's telling me it's telling Excel where to place what I'm asking for here. So I'm going to put the output range. I'm just going to put it, let's just say I just want it here. So that'll be where the information is going to go. And then my input range is going to be all of this information. So I'm going to click on this. Then I'm going to get everything except for age, because age is just a label. It's not an actual number. So we can't calculate, the mean when you have like the label age there. And if you're seeing these blank spaces, what that's telling you is that those are the 99s that have been removed. So once we get to the 1500th respondent, so we got everybody. We're going to input that. So that'll be my input range, and I need to click on Summary Statistics. I'm going to press OK. And now I have the information that I'm requesting. So these are the descriptive statistics for the variable age. Respondents age. And so you see that the mean is 48.69, the median is 48, the mode is 34. The standard deviation is 17.99. You don't know what the standard deviation is yet because we haven't discussed that. You'll learn about that in chapter 4. So it provides the standard deviation. The minimum, the youngest person is 18 because the GSS doesn't sample anybody under the age of 18. The oldest person was 89 or older. The range is 71, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's how you go about calculating the measures of central tendency when you have an interval ratio level variable. So how do you do it if you have either a nominal or ordinal level variable? So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the original page. We're going to click on degree. We're going to copy degree. And I'm going to put it right about here. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this, and I'm going to insert a pivot table. We learned about this last chapter, so I'm going to insert pivot table, and then so that's my range. It already got to my range. Now I need to give it the output range again, which is the existing worksheet where I'm going to place the pivot table at. I'm going to place it right about here. Okay, so I have my input range, output range, and I'm going to press OK. Now I have this variable degree. So like I said, we learned about this last chapter. I'm going to move it over to rows. And I'm going to bring it down to values 3 times. 1, 2, and then 3. Okay. So now I know that row labels is we're looking at degree. Now I need to find out, see the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and blank. Some of these are missing values. So I need to, again, clean the data up. So which one of them are missing values? So I need to come back to the code book, and I look over here and I find degree. Okay, so I see 0 is less than high school, 1 is high school, 2 is junior college, 3 is bachelor, 4 is graduate, 7 is not applicable, but there were no 7s, 8 is don't know, so there were no 8s, and 9 was no answer, so there was none of those as well. So the data looks pretty good already. So but what I am going to do is I'm going to erase this blank because we don't need that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to uncheck blank. Okay, now I'm going to put, I know that 0 is less than high school, so I'm going to put LT high school. I'm going to put 1 is high school. 2 is associates, 3 bachelor, 4 is graduate, meaning like master's or PhD or some type of doctorate degree. Expand this a little bit so we can read it. Good. Now what I need to do, so this is count, which is frequency. This is count of degree 2, which I'm going to put as percentage, and then this one's going to be C percentage. Sorry, my dogs are crazy. So this is C percentage for cumulative percentage. So I already have the frequency what I want it to be. Now I need to put the percentage. So the way I alter this percentage to actually reflect percentage, I'm going to put percentage. I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to put percentage. I'm going to come to value field settings. Then I'm going to show values as percentage of grants total. I'm going to press OK. And so now this is giving me the percentage of the overall total. The percentages always need to add up to 100%. And then what I need to do is I need to get the cumulative percentage. So the way I make this a cumulative percentage is I come over here to C percentage, go to value field settings, hit show values as, then I come over to running percentage total in. And then, so this gives me a cumulative percentage because it goes 11.6. Then you add to 49.63, get 61.53. Add it to 7.87, get 69.40. And then so on and so forth. It's a cumulative percentage distribution here. So the way you're going to find the mode and then the median, because you can find the mode and the median for ordinal level data, you can't calculate the mean, so we don't need to worry about that. What you're going to do is you're going to find, for the mode, you're just going to find the category with the largest frequency, and that should be relatively easy, largest frequency or the largest percentage, same thing. That should be relatively easy. The largest frequency here is 749, so the largest frequency is high school. The largest percentage is 49.93, which is also corresponds to the category high school. Now, the way you go about finding the median, if you remember this from the lecture, what you're going to do is you're going to come over here to this cumulative percentage distribution. So you're going to come over here and you're going to click 11.60 and then 61.53. So you know the median is that exact 50% mark, so we're looking for 50%. We know that 50% is going to be between 11.60 and 61.53, but which one do you choose? So I may have told you this in lecture. There's two ways to go about doing this. You can either look at 50% is going to be in between these two and then just go to the lower one, which is going to correspond to high school. Or you can think about it as like this line represents 0, this one represents 11.60, this one represents 11.60, this one represents 61.53, 50% is going to be somewhere in here, and it's going to correspond to high school. And you can do that for any percentage if you're looking for the third quartile or the 75% mark. 75% is going to be in between these two. We're going to go down, and it's going to be bachelor, and then the 25% mark would also end up in high school as well. So that's how you go about finding the mode and the median with nominal and or ordinal level data. Obviously, if you have nominal level data, you can't find the median. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to go about calculating the averages, so measure the central tendency for different categories of a variable. So I'm going to do this with the variables sexual orientation and SIBS. So I'm going to copy sex ort and SIBS. I'll move them to this other sheet. All right, so now that I have these two variables, sexual orientation and SIBS, I need to see, I'm going to create a pivot table out of this. So I'm going to come back up here, I'm going to click insert and then pivot tables, but I might need to clean up the data first. So I want to look at the variable sex ort, just sexual orientation, being whether or not you responded as gay, straight, bi, and so on and so forth. So we can see that there's quite a bit of missing variables or missing values in the sense of, I guess 617 people, it wasn't applicable to them for whatever reason. 5 said don't know, 9 just didn't answer the question. And then I think for the variable SIBS, 2 people said don't know. So what are we going to do here? We're going to clean the data. So I'm going to get rid of, for the variable SIBS, I'm going to click Control F. And then I'm going to replace, I think it was 98 with just nothing. So I made those 2 replacements, and I'm going to go over to the variable sexual orientation. I'm going to remove 0, 8, and 9. So again, I'm going to hit Control F. I'm going to find 0. I'm going to replace 0, 8, place 0, and then 9. Okay, so now that I've got rid of those missing values, I'm going to insert a pivot table. And again, I'm going to put this on an existing worksheet. The location, I'm just going to put it right here. Get my input range, I'll press OK. So now I have my pivot table, and I'm going to put sexual orientation in the rows. I'm going to put SIBS in the values. Okay, now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get rid of this blank for sexual orientation. Now I have 1, 2, and 3, so I know that this is, the row label is respondents. I'll just put sexual orientation. And then here, I know that 1 is homosexual from my recollection, so gay, so we'll just put homosexual. 2 is bisexual, 3 is heterosexual, so I will put, for 1, homosexual, 2 is bisexual, and 3 is heterosexual. Now here I have count of SIBS, and I'm going to put average. And so instead of having the count of SIBs, I'm going to have it give me the average. So let me go in value field settings, and on set of count, I'm going to have average. Press OK. So this is the average of the SIBs. So this way you can compare, you know, were homosexuals or bisexuals or heterosexuals more likely to have, you know, larger amount of siblings. And it seems to be the case that heterosexual people were slightly more likely to have more siblings than, you know, homosexuals or bisexual. I don't know if there's any relationship there, but this is essentially how you go about calculating the measure of central tendency, and then looking at the measure of central tendency by different categories of a variable.